We're pretty close to on time. Yeah, right. Sleeping in retirement? Yeah, no. And so far, I haven't figured out what retirement is because I'm still working just as hard. I don't think there is such a thing. Bear's birthday eve. Oh, because your dog is getting neutered today. Well, there's fun. Okay, so I cannot read that. I think it's Greek. It's Greek to me. I'm actually...
You can purchase all of Dr. Morgan's products at her website, www.drjudymorgan.com. Now it's time to sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
It doesn't have an off time. No, it does not. I'm doing a consultation sometime in the near future for somebody who was living in New York and now lives in Greece. I don't know how to pronounce your name, the person that looks like you're from Greece. You can message me through this Facebook page. But I got records from Greece, and the writing looks like that. I'm just like, what's what? Anyway, so yesterday we talked about, hi, Eva. We've got Spain, we've got Newfoundland, we've got, I think that's Greece. We're all over the place. So yesterday we talked about puppy vaccinations and not getting a series of 7 vaccines for your puppies because that's ridiculous. And so I promised that I would talk about kitty vaccines. And oh, you're from Russia. Okay. Never mind. We have Russia on board. Okay. And actually, I did a consultation with somebody who was from Russia but living in Pennsylvania last week. So I guess we're getting global. That's one of the good things about social media. There's a lot of bad things about social media, but there's a lot of good things too. So I posted an old blog that I had written. I think it was dated 2017. I just put it up this morning that talks about puppy and kitten vaccines. And so for kitty cats, it really is a lifestyle situation. It really depends. Scottish Highlands. Oh my goodness. It really, I've been to Scotland. I loved it there. I'd love to go back someday, post-COVID, when we're allowed to travel again. Cats are not small dogs. They're totally different. We feed them differently. We treat them differently, and they react differently to everything. And cats love to make tumors secondary to vaccines or really almost anything you inject into their body. They don't like foreign invaders at all. They go a little bit nuts. And so their immune system will get a little crazy and make a huge reaction. And we do see fibrosarcoma, aggressive fibrosarcoma tumors secondary to vaccines, much more in cats than we do in dogs, although we do see them in dogs as well. So what vaccines should we be giving our kittens? It really depends what's their lifestyle. Are they going to be outdoor kitties, or are they going to be indoor kitties? Do you live in an area, if your cat goes outside, where there are a lot of stray cats, or do you live in a neighborhood where everybody takes good care of their cats and all the cats that are wandering around are healthy? So one of the things with cats, if you get a new kitten or a new cat that you bring into your household, whether it's from a shelter, a private owner, private breeder, stray that you take in, one of the first things you want to do is test them for feline leukemia and FIV, which is feline AIDS. You might consider testing for FIP, but the testing for that is a little sketchy. So, but definitely FIP or FIV and feline leukemia. Feline leukemia is pretty easily transmitted between cats, whereas FIV, the feline AIDS, it is thought to really only be transmitted through bite wounds. So you want to do that. And on kittens, you're probably not going to get a truly accurate test until about 12 weeks of age. You could certainly, if you're bringing a new one in or you pick up a stray, you could test them sooner. If you get a negative, I would repeat it at 12 weeks just to make sure they're still negative. Anytime you introduce a new cat into the household, please segregate them until you have negative tests. And so for the kitty cats, there's a whole bunch of vaccines available. I do not recommend giving the feline leukemia vaccine unless your cat is outside in an area where there are a lot of stray, unhealthy cats. Our cats are not vaccinated for feline leukemia. They do go outside. They do not come in contact with other cats, as far as I know. They never come home with bite wounds. They don't get in battles. So we live in a neighborhood where people either keep their cats in or the cats go out in their yards, and our cats have lived in a safe environment their entire life, but they're definitely happier going outside. And I do not vaccinate them for leukemia and feline AIDS, but they get tested every year as part of their annual lab work because they do go outside. The feline leukemia vaccine, we have no idea how long that lasts, whether that's a lifetime vaccine or right now it is recommended that it be given annually, but I believe that it's probably like a lot of the other vaccines that we give, it probably lasts a lot longer than what we think. And I don't even remember when we got these cats that we have now. They're all the same age. I can't even remember if they ever had a leukemia vaccine. They may have had one when they were about 6 months old, when they started going outside. It's generally a series of 2 at the beginning. They may have had one. I can't even remember. It's been about 10 years. But for the kittens, we pretty much only have combo vaccines. Things are not split out like they are for the dogs. We don't have the availability to do that. But what I started doing in my practice in the past few years is if the cat comes in as an adult or an older kitten, so 6 months or above, if we don't know the background on the cat, we will run a titer for the panleukopenia, which is the feline distemper. So you can get a titer for them just like you can for the dogs. So we'll do a titer. If the titer is positive, no vaccine needed. If the titer is negative, we'll give one if they're 6 months or older. That's generally enough. For young kittens, probably need 2, although we've started doing things a little differently with them as well, waiting until 10 to 12 weeks for that first vaccine, that first FVRCP. I have some clients who say, well, when I come in at 16 weeks, let's do a titer and see where we are. If it's positive, good to go. If it's negative, we'll give a second. Not everybody wants to pay the money to get the titer done. Not everybody wants to do multiple trips like that, because if the titer comes up negative, then you're gonna have to come back and get them vaccinated. Cats are not as fun to travel with in general, although I do recommend that if you get a new kitten, start taking them in the car, train them to like the car just like a dog would. I had a kitten that I got when he was 6 weeks old, the first cat I ever owned. I got him right after I came back from my honeymoon in 1985. And he had both back legs broken. So he had little tiny casts on his legs. And that was when we were in the age of still doing plaster casts. And I lived an hour and a half from where I worked. And once a week, that little kitty went to work with me to have his casts changed because he was growing. And he was the best car cat ever. He would just curl up and sleep just like a dog would in the car. He was awesome. You can train them. So wish Virginia would accept titers. The cost is $250. Well, they'll accept titers for distemper parvo. They won't accept titers for rabies. There's only 1 or 2 states that are starting, Delaware's one of them, that are starting to accept titers for rabies. So if you don't want to go back and do the titers and be going back and forth, and you want to play it safe, then an FVRCP around 10 weeks and another one around 14 to 16 weeks, you'll be good to go. Rabies, same thing with cats as with the dogs. I like to wait till between 6 to 12 months of age. I don't like to give multiple vaccines at the same time. If you're going to give the leukemia vaccine, Don't do it the same day as other vaccines, and watch your cats closely after the vaccines. I had a very sad email yesterday from someone who agreed to let me use her story today about vaccines and a kitty cat. She had an older cat who had kidney disease and was going to the veterinary office 2 to 3 times a week to get sub-Q fluids. And at one of those visits, the veterinarian said, your cat is overdue for a rabies vaccine. And the owner said, well, the cat's old, it's in kidney disease, it doesn't go outside. I don't want to vaccinate the cat. And the veterinarian did the guilt trip. And she and her husband were both there. The veterinarian did the guilt trip. Well, if your cat ever bites anybody, you're going to get sued. If your cat bites anybody or is bitten by something else, you're going to have to cut off your cat's head and send it in for rabies testing. And literally played the scare tactics with them, and it was ridiculous. And they got scared enough that the husband said, well, you know, we don't want to be sued, and well, we don't want our cat's head cut off, and you know, all the malarkey that went into the conversation. And so they agreed to do the rabies vaccine. And so the cat got sub-Q fluids, got the rabies vaccine. It was all done in the back. The owners were out in the waiting room. And on the way home, they heard commotion in the cat carrier and looked in the cat carrier, and the cat was having a grand mal seizure, and the cat died in the woman's arms in the car after the rabies vaccine. So the cat, who knows, apparently an anaphylactic reaction to the vaccine and went into shock. Craziness. So, you know, and of course the owners kick themselves and say, well, we shouldn't have agreed to that. We shouldn't have done it. And of course the veterinarian said, nope, not related to the rabies vaccine. Couldn't be. Now the cat had never had a seizure in its life. It had been going to get seizures get fluids multiple times a week. And the only thing that was done differently was the cat was given a rabies vaccine and had a seizure and died on the way home. I don't know. 1 + 1 = 2 to me. So, you know, same thing happened to Kathy Watson. She didn't give in, 20-year-old cat. Yeah, if you have a 20-year-old cat who never goes outside, yes, legally they're supposed to be vaccinated. It just makes no sense to me. So I got a new vet. I'm pretty sure they got a new vet after that. Yeah. So, you know, again, same thing I said yesterday. It's up to you guys to be your pet's advocate and stand your ground. And so that person in the email yesterday said to me, please keep speaking up. Please keep telling us to stand our ground, because we do have to be the advocate. And unfortunately, we do get bullied into things. It's a shame. It's really a shame. So anyway, so I did repost the blog. Let's see, not a cat person since I was 10. My cat crashed down from 14th floor of the building where we lived before in Russia. Ow. Yeah, you know, cats are amazing. You see stories in the city all the time of cats that fall from great heights and miraculously survive. Some do, some don't. A lot of them, they'll rupture their diaphragm when they hit. But yeah, you got an exemption for Molly yesterday for Bordetella and DHLPP for grooming. She'll be in and out of the groomers. That's awesome. Yeah, don't be afraid to ask. Ask for exemptions, ask for titers. And if they're telling you, rabies titers are more expensive, but if you need a distemper parvo titer and they're telling you it's $300, ask to have the blood drawn, send it into Gene Dodd's lab at HemoPet, send it into Dr. Rob, Protect the Pets. There are different places the blood can be sent that it's not going to be $300. So, okay.
You done?
I'm done, and I got a lot of work to do today. Every day. Yeah, don't be bullied. My pet, my money. Yeah, it's easy to get talked into things, though. You know, it's pretty easy. There's a lot of bullying going on in this world. Titers cost you $245 plus your visit fee. You really can't afford to keep getting titers done. Redo the titer, and if we need a third titer, shows positive for parvo, then I need a third titer to get the tiebreaker. I'll have to read that in showed good immunity both this year. Rechecked his titers. Good immunity to December, no immunity to parvo. Can't get a single parvo vaccine. That's ridiculous. Because it's easily available, readily available. I don't know. Our guys are starting to show up low on theirs. I'm not vaccinating them. They don't go anywhere. They don't see anybody. Nineteen-year-old cat got herpes from the new cat. Yeah, it will. Yeah, I don't agree with that. If she had been vaccinated, she wouldn't have gotten the herpes. Whatever. Okay. Bullying. Bye, guys. Have